When we have a music note that is dark in the center and has what's called a stem up here, this is called a quarter note, and this quarter note equals 1 beat of time. So let's take a look back over here at our goose round. Let's figure out how many of these quarter notes we can find. Well, Y is a quarter note too. So here's the quarter note. This actually isn't because of this bar up here. So we have 1, no, 2, 3. No, that's something different. 4, 5. These are different. 6, 7. We had 7 quarter notes. So of these are all going to equal 1 beat. 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat. Kind of like how we said it. Y. Y, my, goose. In fact, say that with me. Ready? Here we go. Y, my, goose, thy, goose, my, goose. Good. One more time. Let's go all the quarter notes. Here we go. Y, my, goose, thy, goose, my, goose. Okay. Good job. Those are our quarter notes, our 1 beat notes in this song, The Goose Round. This next rhythm is called an 8th note. And so actually what I have here are 2 8th notes together. So you have one dark circle. These are notes. If they didn't have the beam on top, they would be quarter notes like the other one, and they would equal 1 beat each. But because they have this what's called beam across the top, these are actually suddenly a very different note. This by itself actually equals half a beat. And because it's beamed to another half a beat, these 2 halves equal this 1 whole beat. Didn't know you're doing music fractions, did you? Sorry. So let's take a look over at this goose round again. And you'll notice on this first little line, why doesn't my goose? We have an 8th note pattern. I want you to clap that 8th note pattern, okay? I'm going to say, why doesn't my goose? And make sure you clap on doesn't and say the rest of the words. Here we go. Why doesn't my goose? You feel how doesn't feels twice as fast? I hope you do. Moving on. Let's do this first line. Say everything. Clap only these 8th note patterns. Ready? Here we go. Why doesn't my goose sing as well as thy goose? One more time. Here we go. Why doesn't my goose sing as well as thy goose? Good. Do the whole song. Here we go. Why doesn't my goose sing as well as thy goose? When I paid for my goose twice as much as thine. Good. This goose round only has 3 different kinds of rhythms. There's actually lots of different kinds of rhythms and ways that we can write notes and express the timing of notes. However, this one has that quarter note, 8th note, throughout it all the way till the very end, and then suddenly we have this note. Now it's different than the others because you notice that the other 2 closed, this one suddenly open, okay? And it has a long stem, but it's not beamed to anything. So it's not like our 8th notes, but it's open. So it's not like our quarter notes. This one is called some of my smarty pants already have it. This one is called a half note. So it is going to take out 2 beats. And when we do this in music, we tend to clap our hands and slide. So it's ta-ah. It's 2 beats of sound. It holds out, just like thine holds out. Okay? Let's clap and say our rhythms here. Ready? Here we go. Whole thing. Why doesn't my goose sing as well as thy goose when I paid for my goose twice as much as thine? Okay, so that's the rhythm, but that doesn't really sound like singing, correct? That's only one part of this. There's these lines, there's this 4/4, there's this sign here. There's a lot of things going on that's not just about a rhythm. So now that we know how fast and how slow to sing this song with these 3 rhythms, let's talk at some other things that are happening on this. Our next little spot to look over is going to be this 4/4. Before we move completely away from rhythm, I would be remiss as a music teacher not to mention this. So, this little 4/4 tells us that to organize our music, we are going to have 4 beats per measure line. So you notice here, we have our 4/4, and then we have these long lines that are going this way, and all of a sudden, burp, like a little brick wall, there's a little line here. Now remember, we have 1 beat, 1.5, 1.5, which is 1, and we have these 2 beats, right? So if this is 1 beat, that's 1, half, half, 2 halves make 1 whole, 2, 3, 4. Every 4 music beats, there's going to be this line here. 1 and is going to be 1, 2 and is 2, 3, 4, and all of a sudden there's this line. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, line. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, double line. We put a double line at the end to say, this is the end of the song, don't worry about it, you're there, congratulations. So, why are there these lines in the music? Well, if you had me in previous years, you may remember that we were talking about we don't want run-on sentences. In our music, we have our way of organizing things. So these measures are a way of musicians organizing it so it doesn't look like a steady, long, giant stream of music notes. If it looked like that, we would just have our music look like this. This is the same rhythm, and after a while, it just starts looking like a mess. It's like saying, hey, how are you? What's going on today? I really appreciate being in your class. You're such a good, awesome teacher, Miss Sains, or Mr. Sanchez, or Miss Sandoval. You guys are so great. And you're running on sentences without putting any periods. That's what this looks like as a musician. So a musician said, stop, wait, this is too many notes. Every 4 beats, we're gonna put a line. 1, 2, and 3, 4, line. Let's make sure that this is not a garbled mess. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, line. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Right? Oh, and then we want this to be the end of our song, so double line at the end. That's the only reason why we have those lines, is to make sure it doesn't look like a mess. When musicians read music, they're reading all of those symbols, all of the rhythm symbols, all of the pitch symbols at the same exact time. And they're having to not only look at it and know what it is, but being able to sing it correctly. So in the right higher low, not just a higher low. And then they're able to play in the right time. So is it ta-ah? Is it ta-ah-ah-ah? It makes a really huge difference if you're singing Gloria and going, Gloria in excelsis Deo. If you're holding that out forever and you have a in excelsis Deo, that's going to make a big difference in Gloria in excelsis Deo. That's a lot of stuff to happen on one breath. So make sure that you're not singing through notes or have too many or too few. And that's one of the things that we're going to look at is reading music so that doesn't happen.